before I was ready. Okay, well, we here now. Hey, y'all. For those who are present, drop a one if you can hear me, because I literally just plugged in the mic. I don't even know what's going on, child. If you can hear me, drop a one. Let me know. It looks like it's on. Ciao. All right. Cool, cool. Thank you. And if you are present, hit the like button. Hit the like button if you are present. Okay. All right. Baby. What is life? What is life? How's everyone doing today? Y'all good? Oh my goodness. Oh, let me do my intro. Hey y'all, it's your girl 𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒊𝒏 back with a live video on tonight. And as you can see from the title, I'm here to discuss the men's. No shade though, you know what I mean? But a lot, y'all are going through a lot these couple weeks. I'm noticing. So I have some opinions on the matter, and I figure a lot of y'all do as well. So let's talk about it. Okay? So also, my hair is like braided up, but I'm going to be taking them down as I chat. See what I'm saying? We about to be doing my hair together as we discuss, okay? Now, first things first. Thank you all for joining me. Okay, hope y'all are doing well. Second thing is, first I saw that article that was talking about the rise of single lonely men. I saw that like a week ago and I was like, uh-oh. And when I saw it and I read it, I was like, you know, this does make sense to me that this would be an experience for people. You know, you just look at the landscape of dating right now. I was like, yeah, that makes sense that would be a thing. But then I saw that video of the therapist, shorty with the braids, going off about her black male clientele or just men in general. And I was like, oh, hold up now. There's a lot to discuss. There's a lot to unpack here. See what I'm saying? So, first of all, okay, I saw a comment when I entered. It was like, hold on. Let me set up my life. It was like, yes, I cannot wait for this. Literally had to explain to someone the other day, men are out here dying alone. And first thing I want to acknowledge is, like, why? I don't like that people get excited to see each other struggling with things. Like, I'm not saying that's what this person has done, but generally, like, I'm seeing people being like, yeah, see, y'all talking about how women gonna die alone. Well, y'all the ones who gonna die alone. It's like, why is either side of the equation excited about people being single and lonely? That's depressing as hell. That's not funny. That's not a vibe. Like, why are we celebrating that just so you can prove a point to say, well, see, y'all was talking shit this whole time, so look at y'all now. You know what I mean? It's like, okay. I mean, I get it. I get where that would come from, but at the same time, I don't see how it's productive at all. I don't see how it's helpful at all. It's kind of just like a tit for tat kind of thing. And I'm like, why are we doing this? That's just my initial thoughts. But anyways, first of all, for those who are present, did y'all read that article? Hey, everybody. Did y'all read the article that I'm talking about where it's describing how men are struggling with relationships and becoming more single, more lonely these days? If you have, let me know in the chat. And also, be prepared to discuss your experiences too, because I have some questions to ask y'all. I have some questions. And I guess I'm going to share a little bit about my experiences with dating. Just a little bit. Not too much, but just a little bit. So we can like really get into it, you see? All right, hold up. just watched a video where a guy wants to know why women won't cook and clean for a man, and he was having a conversation with a man who's been married for 20 years with 5 kids. I saw that video too. I saw that video too, and it was so ghetto and ghetto because it's like, what is this conversation? It was okay. Because, like you said, the man has been married for 20 years, and the person he's on the call with is asking him, like, why don't women want to cook and clean? And he's explaining it's because, they tired because they also got to work, modern times. And, a lot of men aren't out here being able to provide a lifestyle where a woman can just be at home. So she has to work, and therefore she tired. That's why. And the dude is like, so you're telling me that women are tired and that's why they're not cooking? Nigga, yes. That is what that's the answer. Oh, so what's the roles in your marriage? What do you mean roles? Like, we both help each other out. We pick up the slack. So you don't understand what roles are in a marriage? Nigga, he been married for 20 years, dude. Like, he's been married this whole time. So clearly whatever they got going on works. Like, why are you trying to shame this man about the fact that he doesn't have typical gender roles or responsibility roles in his dynamic if it's working for them? Like, anyways, I don't know why you brought that up and had me go off on that whole goddamn tangent, because that shit was very wild. It was very wild to look at him sitting there like that, trying to judge him for that. It's like, sir, if it works for them, it works for them. That doesn't mean that everyone has to be that way, but I don't know. I get kind of tired of seeing people kind of try to outline this one way of relating. Like, it can only be in this way. And if y'all aren't doing it that way, then something's wrong with y'all. Even if it's working, even if both parties are happy, that don't matter because it's not the conventional. It's not the traditional. But it's like, if we really look at our circumstances, what about it is traditional in the first place? Like, how many of us are living traditional lives for us to be expecting strictly traditional behavior from everybody we encounter? Like, how realistic is that? It's not. It just isn't. I don't get that. When the last time you been in church, but you talking about some traditional? I don't know. It's just funny. It's fun. Like, I understand how certain things. This is the type of person I am. I take what makes sense and like apply it. I'm like a custom made relationship structure kind of person. Like, what makes sense for us is what we should do. I do like vibe with a lot of the traditional concepts though. I'm not gonna front. Like, I do vibe with the idea of the woman being in the nurturing space and like being home, taking care of the home, like just generally in a nutshell, that makes sense to me. And the men being the go-getters, the providers, that makes sense to me as well. That resonates with me. But if it don't resonate with them, I'm not gonna make them feel like they ain't shit because they not doing it that way. That's just my thoughts on it. But anyways, I just got on a whole side thing. We supposed to be talking about the article and also the therapist. My thoughts are all over the place because there's so many things to like get into. There's so many things to get into. So, okay, bringing it back to the article, I think someone said, where's the article? Oh, let me see if I can. I'm going to drop it in the chat for y'all, actually. It was a Psychology Today article. And, Psychology Today is pretty much just like, a blog at this point. You know what I mean? They do have some valid information on there, but you still got to do your own additional research. But it's basically talking about how I'm going to look at it right now. Dating opportunities for heterosexual men are diminishing as relationship standards rise. Okay. Also, men represent approximately 62% of dating app users, lowering their chances for matches, which, duh. And then men need to address skill deficits to meet healthier relationship expectations. So really, and when you read it, it kind of like breaks it down a little bit more. But really what it's saying is like relationship standards are raising, and it's on both sides, really. And because of that, to me, it just sounds like people are becoming pickier. They're not just like giving it up for everybody these days. And I think maybe the Roe versus Wade decision plays a little part in that, just a little bit, because a lot of people were kind of relying on that as an option. If they don't want to deal with somebody, they can just escape. You know what I mean? But now people are becoming more intentional with who they select. And so it's leading to lower relationship outcomes, right? And also they were saying on dating apps, there's more men than women. So naturally there's like, who are they going to match with? And then also there's a skills deficit. Now that part, listen, that part, okay? That part. That part. And so that brings me to the video of the therapist where she was going off. Raise your hand if you saw that video of the therapist who was going ham about how men need to raise their emotional vocabulary and all of those things. And then she got fired after ranting. Did y'all see that video? Let me just do a temperature check first before I go into it. Exactly, do what works for you, word. Hey, Sammy, happy day, fam. Hey, what up? Higher standards, yes. A lot of people are no longer settling for what they think. I guess you're saying what they think they don't deserve, or like they're raising their standards, basically. Right? A lot of people don't deserve what they think they do. Ooh. You right about that. You're not lying about that. You're not lying about that at all. Okay, saw a post, but I didn't see it. Okay, so with that video, I was actively avoiding it. First of all, I didn't even know it was a thing until my mom, my mom was like, girl, did you see? And I was like, no, what are you talking about? I didn't. And she was telling me about it. And then I was in someone's live stream recently, a couple days ago, and it came up again. And I was like, what is this video? What are y'all talking about? So I decided to go look for it. I watched it yesterday. And I'm not going to hold you. It really wasn't as bad as I expected. I thought she was going to be like way worse than people were describing based off of how everyone was reacting to it. But at the same time, I saw why it caused a frenzy on the internet. I did see why. Because basically she was going in specifically on Black men on their inability to communicate efficiently in their relationships. She was talking about how, you know, men don't need to choke down their feelings anymore. Like, if your shorty wants to know what's up, like, tell her what's up, communicate, but y'all don't have the vocabulary to do so, and da-da-da-da-da. But the way she was going about it was no compassion at all, which is troublesome because you're positioning yourself as a mental health professional, but you're talking about mental health issues as if it's like, it's y'all's fault that y'all are like this, so do better. Like that kind of energy. And I saw a follow-up video where she was crying and talking about how she got fired, and she was saying how people aren't protecting her as a Black woman, and how, you know, y'all going hard to get her fired doesn't just hurt her, it hurts her clients, because she used to work with people for like 5 years and they have like deep emotional issues that she's been helping them with, and now that y'all have gotten her fired, her clients are suffering too. And to be honest, I definitely understand that. That's really tough. Like, if you look at the humanity side of it, that's fucked up. But at the same time, why were you on the internet talking to niggas like this? Why were you doing that? It kind of seemed to me like she may have had like her own personal negative experience, like relationship wise. Maybe she had just argued with her nigga or something like that. Like she just finished having an issue and it triggered she started thinking about how common that particular set of issues are. So she just kind of like turned on the camera and started venting. And I understand the frustration. I do, to be honest. Like, I get it. What she was saying, a lot of it was valid. But at the same time, if you're talking about how Black men need therapy, and then you're also saying majority of your clients are Black men, that means that Black men are seeking therapy, aren't they? Like there was someone who I was dating last year up until Ju- January of this year, and he was in therapy that whole time. And that was what made me like respect him enough to even explore the connection, because I was like, yo, I love to see you taking active steps in your healing. I love that you are aware that you have work to do and you're doing the work. We didn't work. We learned that we learned that we didn't work, but I still respected him OD for that. And when I speak to black men or I see their conversations these days, I'm seeing a lot of them like encouraging each other to talk it out, bro. Like, you allowed to feel. I see a lot of men trying to undo the programming, just like I see a lot of women going hard in the paint about that as well. We have all, like, I feel like our generation, you just learn from what you see failed in prior generations. You see how people were in their relationships, how dysfunctional things were, and you're like, I don't want to repeat that in my lifetime. We learn about generational curses and trauma and toxicity. We learn all these words and concepts, and we're applying it. No, we're not perfect, but we are doing the work, and I do see that, although more people need to be doing it. I will acknowledge that part, you know? So it's not fair, or at least it's not, I would say it's not ethical to be a mental health professional kind of shaming people for not being well yet. That's a slippery slope, you see? Like, that's very slippery. However, as a human outside of your profession, I do understand the frustration that she was talking about. It's like it's so nuanced. It's so nuanced. And I saw that apparently people were like trying to compare her to Kevin Samuels. Like, people were doing the whole thing where they're like, oh, well, y'all said as far as Kevin Samuels not to pay attention to the message, not the messenger. So whatever she's talking about, pay attention to the message. Not, you know, people are doing that like petty thing, and I'm like, okay, sure, sure. The difference though with Kevin's platform and what she was doing is people were inviting themselves to his platform to ask for his advice, knowing that that's how he speaks and how he feels. Whereas with her, she put that on, she sent that information to us. We didn't ask for it. She delivered it and did it in a way that was like, how are you going to talk about people needing to heal, but then you also shaming those same people that you talk about? It doesn't make sense. If I can see that you're hurting, and then my way of talking about it is to say, see, that's why you need to go to therapy, because you fucked up. Like, something's wrong with you. Like, you need to get your, like, how is that going to encourage me to go to therapy? Okay, how? Or if I am a person who is in therapy and then I see that that's how you think about me in your real life, why would I keep why would I keep doing it? I saw a lot of people being like, see, that's why we not going to therapy. Oh, that's why we don't tell women our emotions. Oh, that's why if I'm going to get a therapist, it's going to be a man. It's only going to be a man if I'm going to be in therapy. If it's not a man therapizing me, I don't want no part. And it's like, bro, because of this one person, now all of us got to deal with the backlash. It's like when you make progress, you see progress being made, even if it's just a little bit, and then someone does something that kind of undoes it. And it's like, now we gotta be out here as black women once again being like punished for what this person did. Like, that, my ankle just cracked. That type of stuff is very, very upsetting to me, because it's like, especially when people use that as their way to generalize the rest of us. Like, because this is how she was speaking, that means all black women, and especially all black women therapists, that's how they feel too. So we're gonna just avoid all y'all. And then bringing it back to the article talking about the rise of lonely men, I think that that's a huge part of it. Yes, the relationship standards are increasing. Yes, there's a skills deficit, but then there's also that issue where people are actively avoiding each other because they're making assumptions and then treating you like the assumption that they made. How that gonna work? And that's on both sides. Women do it too. And that's why in that last video that I made about, the podcast dragging it, it's like we're both sides are doing it to each other, yet we can't see it. And it's kind of like when you know those romantic comedy movies where there's like the two main characters and they both obviously have a crush on you. You like her, she like you, but y'all are acting like you can't tell. And y'all are all awkward and it's like, oh. It's like we obviously want each other. But we acting like we don't because we scared or we've had trauma, we've had negative experiences with specific people, and because of those people, the rest of y'all ain't shit either. And it's like, bro, stuff like that gets on my rotted nerves. It gets on my nerves because it's so clearly an attempt to like protect yourself. And you're allowed to protect yourself. That's allowed. But it's very, what word do I want to use? It's very, I guess, reckless kind of to make a judgment call about an entire group of people based off of the specific few. And depending on who you ask, they'll say stuff like, well, it's not a few, it's the majority of y'all acting like that. Okay, let's say a lot of people act like that. That's still not everybody. So the point still stands is that making a call about an entire group of people based off of this group of people don't make sense. Ain't that the issue that we have with racism? Isn't that the issue that we have with stereotypes and preferences? Isn't that the issue that you're making an assumption about all of us based off of those, a few certain people? Yes, a lot of black people like watermelon and chicken. That don't mean that every black person is a watermelon devourer. It's like, yes, a lot of black people, I don't know whatever stereotype you want to use, but that doesn't mean that all of us operate that way. So why are you treating us all like that? Like, we understand it when it comes to systems of oppression, but when it comes to our own backyard, we can't see it. And that shit get on my last nerve. It's annoying. It's annoying. It's frustrating. It's sad as hell. It's depressing. Because it's like, what? So anyways, let me look at the chat. I just been talking. I want to see what y'all have to say. We're seeing so many people express unfavorable opinions that aren't inherently harmful, silenced, and even bullied for it. That is true. That is very true. Because here's the thing. With this wave of YouTube and internet discussions, like YouTube, TikTok, and just general social media, we're having more access to conversations that used to be behind closed doors. So it's like a lot. It's like information overload a little bit. But at the same time, the conversations that are being had, the points that are being broached do deserve attention. They do deserve to be unpacked. But what I'm seeing that's happening, maybe that's not the case all around, but because we don't like what's being said, and when I say we, I mean whoever is hearing it, women or men, there is like we don't like what's being said, and therefore we reject it, we discredit it, we're like dismissive of it, we're combative against it. And so once again, people are talking around the subject, but not addressing the actual thing. And how do you expect to make any kind of strides in communication with people if you're not willing to actually hear the thing that you don't want to hear for real? We talk about communication being so important in relationships, but when it's time to actually sit down and do it, like people, we fight so hard to not. And I know for a fact it's because people don't want to be vulnerable with each other. It's uncomfortable to be that transparent. And as someone who has felt that discomfort in relationships and conversations, I know what the fuck it feels like to be rawly exposed and kind of being like nervous about how you're going to be received. But I'd rather be my entire self and see how you receive me than be a small sliver of myself and you accept that, but I'm still holding back the rest of me. I'd rather you see the parts that are true. I'd rather you really know it for real and still fuck with me after that. That's what I prefer. You see what I'm saying? That's what I prefer. Family Flex, thank you for that. 40 watching, we need 40 likes. And that is a fact of the matter. That is the fact of the matter. I see none of my mods are present, so Family Flex, I'm gonna make you a mod, okay? There you go. What do we do when a therapist needs a therapist? And you see, that's the thing that's crazy, because part of their training is to go to therapy their damn selves. I have therapist friends, and I've been to therapy. I used to work at a mental health agency. So part of the perks was like we got to chill and talk with the therapist for free. So when I was working there, I was getting free therapy from different people. It's like, because they're all cool. So whoever was available, I'll just go chill in their office and hang out. And then it will turn into a therapist session. All of a sudden, they're breaking out the box of tissues. But yeah, I've had experience with therapy from different people. And I also have friends who are therapists or work in mental health. So just using that as a little context. But part of it is as the therapist, you need a therapist. Because just logically, let's think about it. You're constantly taking in other people's traumas. Constantly. And people, when you sit with people and really get to their skeletons, people are going through some really crazy stuff all the time. It's like ridiculous. So as the therapist who is constantly dealing with all of the traumas of the world, what you think you can just sit down and soak in it and still be okay? No, you need a therapist. Therapists need therapists too. And from that video that I saw, it's clear that baby girl don't have a therapist of her own, and she needs one. There's nothing like what she was saying was valid, but it wasn't coming from, I don't know. It's hard to say because I can tell that she cares. Like I can tell that she does want Black men to do better. That's why she's so bothered. So I get that. I totally get that. However, there is a way to tell the truth to someone and still hold compassion when you do it. When you completely erase the empathy from the equation, it's kind of like whatever you're saying doesn't hold weight anymore. Because it's like, how dare you talk to me like that? You know? And then, because now I just remembered. Because there was multiple videos. She had another video talking about telling women how, girl, if you want to be a slut, be a slut. I'm not going to hold you. I laughed. I'm not going to hold you. She's funny. Like, I definitely laughed a couple times watching those videos. I was like, what is going on? At one point, she slapped her ass. I was like, what is going on? What? Is this real? There's no way this is real. But yeah, when she started telling women like, girl, if you need confirmation from your therapist is telling you, you can be a slut. You can go ahead and be a thought if you want to. Like, and it's funny, but it's not funny. Cause what are you talking about? What? That is your professional advice, to be a thought if you want to. And then what happens when that same woman who is choosing to be that way, like deals with some kind of emotional deficit? Because in actuality, you don't really want to be collecting eggplants. Like, oh shit, I'm sweating. Why am I sweating so much? But like, you don't want to be collecting eggplants I don't know. Some of them do. Some people do want to collect. Gotta catch them all. You know what I'm saying? But generally speaking, it was like, I, I'm not really trying to be out here trying out all the peen of the world. What I really want is connection. What I really want is to be with somebody who I really like, right? But according to my therapist, I should just be a thought because all these men don't know how to be in relationships anyway, apparently. You know, it's like, I don't think that that's productive advice either, to be honest with you. I really don't. Oh, snap. Almost dropped my clips. Hey, y'all. Shout out to the people that's joining. Wait, hold on a second. Why is my thing not, hold on. Wait, let's not, I'm confused. Okay, let's not relate this to race. That's where a lot of conversations get lost. It's not a matter of race. It's a matter of people being upset because they didn't agree with her opinion. Was that towards, I don't even remember what I said. Maybe y'all having y'all own conversation. But what she said, what she was doing was not communication. In fact, it was public assault. Right. Yeah. Because like I said, it really wasn't it wasn't as bad as it could be. But at the same time, it wasn't good either. That's not how you talk to people about their issues. That's not how you speak to people who are hurting. Like, you can't position yourself as someone who's trying to help, but your way of helping is by berating. Like, that's not helpful. That's triggering. What you're doing is triggering people. And as a therapist, I would think that you would understand that and it's because I've been seeing a lot of conversations from people who are describing like how a lot of therapists who are like younger, it kind of seems like they have more of an agenda as opposed to a desire to heal. Because I've seen other videos of other therapists like way before this topic where maybe they're like queer or something like that, or I don't know, whatever their personal like conviction is. And within the therapy sessions, they kind of treat their clients as, I don't know, it's weird. But because I haven't had the personal experience, I don't really want to get into it too much. But I'm seeing a lot of personal biases entering the therapy sessions, apparently. And it's like, as a therapist, you're supposed to be unbiased. So even if you personally believe these things, you're not supposed to go up in there and put it on other people. You're supposed to help them sort out their own stuff. Right? That's what I thought. Maybe I was wrong. But anyways, the question that I did want to ask, right, to the ladies who are present, and, you know, men, feel free to share your perspectives too, right? But what kind of experiences are y'all having out here with dating, with relationships? Whether you're single, whether you're with someone, you're married, whatever, but what are you seeing? Like, what would you say are the common themes that are coming up when you're out here dating? I know in her video, she was talking about what's common is a lack of emotional intelligence, a lack of an ability to express oneself efficiently. I personally have seen that. And it's true. But what about y'all? What's some things that y'all have been noticing out here in these streets? I'm curious. I want to hear other people's experiences too on this matter. While y'all collect your thoughts, let me take this rubber band off. Oh, I done broke the rubber band. I done broke the rubber band. Yeah. Tell us. What are you noticing out here when you're dating, y'all? The ghosting and making you feel like you did something wrong. Can you elaborate on the making you feel like you did something wrong portion? And now that you mentioned that, that just made me think about my brother. Fun fact, I have a brother from another mother. He's in Canada with my dad and my sister. Yeah, he's cool peoples. But he was sharing with me some things that he's experiencing with dating. It's interesting because he chills in Toronto or whatever. And he's like, bruh, woman in Toronto is ghetto. Like the things that he's describing is the same thing that we dealing with in the States, and really is clearly about like, you know, just the culture on this side of the world. But the shorty he's dating, I don't even want to get girl. A lot of projection is something that I would say is a common theme where people have their own like emotional disturbances, which, you know, that's valid. Whatever your life is, sure. But then enter into a dating scenario and kind of make it your responsibility that they had these experiences. It's hard to, because it's like, okay, you may have had trauma in your life, right? Now that you're aware of the trauma or the fact that it was traumatic or the fact that it changed you in some way, it becomes your responsibility now how you show up moving forward, whether you do the active work to resolve those issues or you decide to just embrace them as a part of who you are now, right? But it's not fair for you to treat people as though they are now obligated to you in some way or responsible for your emotions moving forward because of what you went through in the past. That's not everyone else's fault. We didn't do it. So you don't get to come into the dynamic and treat people crazy. And then when they check you about it, your response is, well, I went through this and I went through that, so that's why. No. Yeah, you went through this and you went through that, so now what are you going to do about it? Don't make that my fault. I didn't do that to you. And that's not my intention, isn't to do that to you, but you're making it as though I am responsible for what you went through. Now you punishing me and I ain't had shit to do with it. How that work? How does that work? Let me see. And then you also mentioned ghosting, which you said they communicate for a little bit, then it stops and you're left to feel like, what did I do or am I not enough? And, you know, to that point that you just made, I think that connects a little bit to the whole lacking the relationship skills as well as the communication skills to actually convey what it is that you're feeling. Like a lot of people don't know how to just say, or even if you know how to say it, you're not comfortable being that open with someone to say, this is how I'm feeling about this situation. Or I'm not really feeling like this is a good matchup. Or I thought I was ready for this, but I'm not. Right? Because a lot of the times you're afraid of what the response is going to be. But the truth is, you don't have control over how people respond to you. You just have control over you, right? And it's easy to say that. It's easy to know that. But to practice it is a whole nother story. You know, like, but it's not fair to the other person that you're dealing with for you to deprive them of the clarity that they would need. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're having a hard time with something, for example, and you don't translate that to me at all, how the hell am I gonna know? How am I gonna know? I'm supposed to just know? And then if I don't know, you're gonna you're gonna get passive aggressive, or you're gonna start doing the silent treatment, or you're just gonna vanish from my life. Now you triggered me because now Now you giving me an abandonment issue. Because now I'm thinking, damn, the next person I deal with, maybe they gonna do the, you see how you, like, you create more trauma in the world when you act like that. When what you really need to learn or practice is how to communicate efficiently. It's not easy, but you must practice. How do I convey what I'm going through to this person? How do I get comfortable, like, giving words to my emotions? How do I learn how to actually feel what I'm feeling and then convey that to another person? And the thing that's crazy about it is children are way better at doing that shit than adults. And that's what's really crazy about it. Like, kids can do it, no problem. A child would tell you that they're upset and why. No problem. Adults, though, it's like you gotta fucking pry or guess when it's like, just tell me. And it's okay if maybe it hurts that person's feelings. It's okay if maybe it hurts their feelings a little bit to know that you've realized that it's not really a good fit. But it's better that you let that person know now and give them that clarity than to just treat them crazy. Like, treat them like they're not important at all, like they ain't shit to you, or you just completely remove yourself from their experience all of a sudden. And this is something I've had to learn too, because I used to be someone who would ghost as well. But I wasn't ghosting like in the middle of a relationship. I was the type of person who I would ghost like within the first couple of days. I used to do stuff like that for sure. Like when I was earlier in my 20s and like kind of not really confident in communicating with people. I definitely used to do that. And then I started to feel bad because I know I don't like being ghosted, so why am I doing that to you, right? So when I started to have that perspective switch is when I made it a deliberate thing where I would just convey it and like get that part over with. Like, for example, one time I went out to brunch and I like to flirt. Like when I'm out and if I'm single, I like to flirt, right? And part of the flirting is like, y'all exchange information. So sometimes, that's fun. And so I did that. I went out to brunch and I was flirting with someone. We exchanged information. And then the next day they called me and we were talking a little bit and he was kind of just like, I want to do this, I want to do that. Let's go out, blah, blah, blah. And I had to just be like, to be honest with you, I was just being hella flirty. I really didn't have any intentions of pursuing this connection for real. And he was like, you know what? I respect that. He was like, yo, thank you for telling me that because I know sometimes, it's a little bit weird. Like we ended up having a nice little conversation about it. And I actually apologized to him. I was like, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have given you my number if I didn't plan on holding the vibe with you. And he was just like, I mean, I fuck with it. I respect it. And now I know, so I'm not going to call you again. I'm like, okay, cool. And then that's how that transpired. I'm not saying that that's how I should have moved, but once I realized that that's what I did, I had to acknowledge it and tell him straight up, like, look, I had absolutely no interest of going past the brunch. So I think it's best that you know that. The hardest person to be honest with is yourself, and that's where communication fails, in my opinion. And Tamia, I agree with you. If you can't be real with yourself, you simply can't be real with other people. And sometimes the hardest part about being real with yourself is telling the truth about the fact that sometimes you ain't shit either. Sometimes you ain't shit. Okay? Sometimes you ain't shit. But it's important that you know that about yourself. And then you get to decide, do I want to continue being ain't shit or do I want to do better than that? Do I want to be better than that? And then you start, you know, doing little things to practice. Versus, like, if you're not able to have those kind of real moments with yourself, then when it's time to be real with another person, you fucking implode. You do some wild shit. Or you treat them crazy. And now you've just created more pain or more rejection or more disappointment when you could have just been real. I don't know. I know it's very easy to say these things. I'm going to be honest. I know it's very, very easy to talk about it. It's not easy to do it. It really isn't. But what makes you end up doing it is your desire to really be a better person than what you have been. Like, if you are really interested in improving yourself, then you start doing the things that are uncomfortable sometimes, you know? But if you really don't give a fuck about improving who you are, then that's a whole nother situation. Okay. Let me see. Let me just put the situation right here. Oh, y'all having a whole conversation with yourselves. I'm also experiencing the bait and switch tactic where they're editing and then some, then it starts to die out and they reveal their true intentions and behavior. Oh, so basically what you're talking about is when people present their representative and then remix, switch the style up on your ass. That's what you're talking about. And that's why I actually had to say this the other day to someone who I'm dealing with a little bit. I had to let him know, like, yo, to be real with you, I cannot stand, like, I really don't like the part of the dynamic where we're kind of walking on eggshells around each other and like pretending or not necessarily pretending, but not showing our full selves because we're like scared or worried about scaring that person away, or if they won't accept, like, that part of the fucking game, I hate that shit. I hate it. I'm the one, I want to fast forward to the part where we see each other. Like, we really see each other. I see you, you see me, but I still fucks with you though. I want to get to that part. Stop the whole pussyfooting around the gallivanting. Stop it. And just be what you are entirely. And if the person is cool with it, they cool with it. If they not, they not. You see what I'm saying? What up? What up, BX? I see you. What up, King? I see you as well. These are some fellows from a Discord that I'm a part of. I may as well do some shout outs to everyone I see. What up, Karina? I see you, girl. But yes, facts on that part. It's like, what the hell? All right, so you guys have been telling me a little bit about what you're noticing. Sorry. What you're noticing in the dating scene, what kind of experiences you're having. Feel free to continue sharing those things, but now I want to know, like, why do you think it's like that for people? Why do you think people are acting like that? I have my theories, but I want to hear y'all's. First time catching you live. What up, Sammy? Hey, what up? Let me see who's that. Deidre? Is that how you say your name? Deidre? Or Deidre? Deidre. Let me know. Is it Deidre or Deidre? Put 1 or 2. If I'm completely wrong, child, my bad. Okay, cool. Deidre. Why you got the blue lights? Sir? Why you can't just hold a vibe? Why you gotta come in here, disrupting the vibes? You know you like the hookah lights. You know you like the hookah lounge vibes in here. You know you fucking with it. Stop. Cut it out. Okay. But anyways, hold on. Uh, mm. So I'm gonna ask this question to both of y'all because I'm seeing like the ladies give me their responses and that's who I ask. But I want to know from pretty much everyone who's present, right? Like, what are you noticing in the dating scene? What are some common experiences that you're coming across or hearing about? And then why do you think it's like that? Anyone is welcome to answer. We don't see people as people. We see people as objects. Everyone feels like anyone is replaceable. Ooh! Oh my God. Yo. You so right. You nailed it. Karina, you nailed it. Specifically the part where you said that everyone thinks people are replaceable. I really don't. Oh, that's Beyonce's fault. Beyonce, why did you tell the girls that okay, everybody's replaceable when they not? I mean, low key, okay. Conceptually, yes, people are replaceable, but treating people like that is violation. You can't treat people like that. Like, come on. I don't like that either. I don't like the whole disposable treatment that people offer. It's like when people act like, well, if you act up, I can just find me a new girl. Ew. Or if you act up, I can just get me another nigga. Ugh. 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 Disgusting. That's so gross of you. You don't know how to treat. You don't have common decency. Yo, I'm dead ass sweating in here. It's because the fucking AC is off. That's crazy. I'm like sweating so crazy, y'all. I hope no one's judging me because it is what it is. It's hot. It's hot. It's summertime. But no, seriously though. You nailed it, Karina. Let me see the other one. For me, I think... Wait, hold on, where'd it go? No! It went away. For me, I think people are not soft enough to express themselves. And probably was told not to show emotions or treat people how they should be treated. I agree. Hey, thank you for the super chat. I forgot that super chats were even an option. Thank you for reminding me. And everyone feel free to follow the leader on that one. I welcome super chats all day. So thank you for that. What was I was going to say? That people are not soft enough to express themselves. Yes. That's so true. And first of all, oh my God, I keep slapping the mic with my hair. But first of all, specifically with men, right? I don't like that so many men and even women, when they speak about men, associate softness, like being a soft person, with being an honest person or being vulnerable. Like, everyone should be allowed and feel safe to be vulnerable. Like, that should be allowed. But we kind of made it this thing where everyone has to be like fake tough. Like, we not thugs. I mean, I know some people are thugs, but generally speaking, thug life ain't the wave. Speaking of thug life, I've heard the rumors for a long time about Tupac being gay. I know, mad random. We talking about this. I've been aware of that conversation, but I recently watched a video that was like really breaking it down because they were like showing different videos of him over his lifetime, specifically when he was younger. Remember, he used to be in the theater, in the arts, doing the pliés and the things, and like showing his mannerisms and how he used to speak and do stuff like this. I mean, like, act like that. And then showing interviews from different people in the industry who had experiences with him, and they were kind of just like, yeah, that nigga was here for the deek. He was for the deek. And they were pretty much unpacking how the rise of Tupac and his image, as like the representative for thug life and gangster behavior was really just another marketing scheme to make black men more effeminate. Down to his stylists were all gay men making decisions about how he presented and making it like purposely making him present a certain way and make certain aesthetics seem like the cool thing to do when it was really rooted in, the homosexuals behavior. And there's nothing wrong with being that, but really just talking about how the intention for making Tupac be like a figure of what you want to emulate was really to push that into the media some more, and how his impact has translated into a lot of the trends that you see with rappers like the Young Thugs and the Lil Uzi Verts of the world, mimicking that kind of attire, like as an ode to Tupac, but it's really like, it's like a sign, it's like a symbol that they're sending out to make it known that, that's where we're at with the thing. So I kind of just thought about that when I mentioned the thug life thing, because it's like a lot of the things that you think are thuggish is still rooted in homosexuality. Nothing wrong with being gay and that being a thing that exists. That's just what it is. But a lot of the things that you think is gangsta isn't. Just like how you see dudes who wear their pants underneath their behinds, like literally underneath their booty cheeks, just hanging on top of the jeans. That don't, okay? And we already know how the backdoor easy access flex, is a thing. And yet people do it and act like it's still, like, what do you do? Pull your pants up. How did I get here? I got distracted. I think people were more content before social media became a part of most people's everyday lives. All this access can be overstimulating. I completely agree with you. I think there is such a thing as overstimulation and having like information overload. Oops. Like, we're not meant to know so much about everybody all the time. We're not meant to be privy to everyone's inner thoughts all the time. Because places like Twitter or places like TikTok really make that kind of thing obvious, because it's like, specifically, let's use Twitter as the example. You know how you'll see someone tweet some outlandish shit, just saying craziness, and then you look underneath and they have like 50,000 likes, 100,000 retweets. It's like, all of y'all agree with this? There's 100,000 people in the world who agree with this. It's like, I don't want to know that many people are around me thinking like this. Sometimes ignorance is bliss, for real. I don't want to know that there's so many people out here that are crazy like this, because that's just going to have me out here looking at everybody sideways, and I don't want to live like that. I want peace. To be honest. That's a great analogy. Fast food relationship. I didn't even see the analogy, but now I want to see it. Hold on, let me scroll up. I don't think us men or women are really taking time to build good character skills and work on becoming virtuous. It's like fast food relationship with little to no quality. And Dree, big facts. Yeah. Literally microwave relationships. Hot pocket relationships. Ain't no real sustenance. Where is the nutritional facts at? Huh? What's the sodium content in this relationship? Why is my hamburger ready in 3 seconds? Why? That's not, there's no way that's healthy for me. Why, when you go to Wendy's, all the fast food is ready made, is already there? Why? And using that as the analogy is literally very accurate because people feel like they have so much access to everybody because everyone's in your face all the time. You know, you have the dating apps, which we've already established that there's more men on the dating apps these days, so it really ain't working out for real. But it's the illusion of choice. You have all these people on social media, you have all these ways of having access to people, so you convince yourself or are conditioned to believe that if you don't like this person, you can just easily get another one. And so there's no real incentive to pour into a connection for real, unless that's what you want. But then even if that's what you want, that doesn't mean that's what the other person wants. So now you have a lopsided scenario where only one person cares enough about the connection to treat it like a real connection. Meanwhile, the other person got their foot out the door. Because in their mind, they can easily get another person. And that's another thing, like how with the marriage or really the divorce rate, how that should be looking crazy every goddamn year, because that's how people are entering into relationships and marriages, thinking, well, if I don't like them, I can just get divorced. And it's like, yeah, I guess, but why are you entering into something that you claim to want to last with that in the back of your mind? Now you see all these men running up and down on the internet talking about all the reasons why marriage isn't beneficial because all these women are initiating divorces. But it's like, even if you don't get married, there's all these men who are in relationships thinking to themselves, well, if I don't like this bitch, I can get another one, so whatever. Like, everybody's doing it. And I wish y'all would stop. I wish y'all would stop. I wish people were brave enough to try. You know, like, I wish people were brave enough to try at something. Jesus Christ. Like, what the Ross? It's kind of surreal to see what the internet did to society. It is. And when you say surreal, legit, because I remember when we didn't have it, though I was a young child, I remember when we didn't have it. And I remember when we did and how exciting it was and how it literally changed the game. And I was like, whoa, so cool, so cool. And then we see what it is now, and it's like, holy shit. So cool, yes, but also too much. So cool, but also it's too much. It's too much. It's too much. I don't know about Pac being gay, but I'd say he was a very eclectic person, a man of his time with a sense of humor. A lot of people value a person with charisma. Absolutely. I'm not saying anything was wrong with him, but if you look at a lot of the interviews with people who knew him for real, you'll be surprised. And I honestly don't know either, but when I was literally watching the body language on certain things, because initially I wasn't paying attention to that because the assumption is, thug life and he's fine. That's the assumption. But when you really look at the mannerisms, you're like, wait, maybe there might be something more to that. Especially just think about the music industry is like that. It really is. There's a lot of that going on in the music industry, and it's being masqueraded behind this brand of ratchet. It's like it's being presented as one thing, but behind the scenes it's a whole nother thing. So the idea of him potentially being that isn't far-fetched to me at all. it's kind of like, oh, well, yeah, that I can see that. As opposed to, oh, hell nah. It's like, no, probably. He might have been. I can see it. I truly can. Not zesty. Why? I don't know. I don't know why seeing zesty just by itself like that. It's so funny. Zesty, yes. Yes, that is the perfect adjective. Zest. Zesty. Holy shit. Y'all are funny. I'm not gonna get over you for just putting that word by itself in the chat like that. Like, that is so funny. Tupac was zesty. R.I.P. R.I.P. to the realist, because he was still dope. I can't even say the realist anymore, though, to be honest, because if he was lying to us, he wasn't the realist. If he was performing this thug behavior, he wasn't the realist. But I would like to hope that he was. And so R.I.P. regardless. Woo child. The ghetto. I feel you, like, why Tekashi here was a rainbow. Now, one thing about Tekashi is ain't no way in hell you can mistake him as being an actual thug. Like, ain't no way. I didn't even care if he actually did some thug shit. It's like, sir, you saw when he had the lace front? Because there is one thing when he was dyeing his hair rainbow colors, right? But then my man's got an actual rainbow wig. And I was like, this nigga is out here in a lace front? Probably because he had all type of bleach damage. But still, why are you so committed to this aesthetic? To this aesthetic that you got the lace front version of it? Why you did that, Tekashi? Why are you doing that? Why? I mean, yes, be who you are, be expressive, but at the same time, sometimes you gotta chill. Sometimes you have to chill. Sometimes you gotta relax. Okay? Sometimes. This way off, but since we talking about artists, did y'all listen to Brent album? I have not. I haven't listened. So I'm sorry. If the rest of y'all have, though, feel free to discuss. I don't know nothing about it. What? Spinner? What kind of comment? What are you Why? Why are you doing this in here? Why are you doing this in here, Spinner? Why? That album got no skips. Oh, really? I don't know Brent. You talking about Brent Faiyaz, right? Faiyaz? That's what you're talking about, right? I don't know his music like that. I know people have told me, like, I would probably really, really fuck with it. I just haven't taken the time to explore the catalog, to be honest with you. Y'all, I am so sweaty. I'm sorry. I hate when I'm, like, so uncomfortably hot that I'm just tripping. And yet it's partially because, like, the AC really isn't bumping, but it's also because, like, the the ring light is beaming on me. Oh, shouts to Family Flex taking the mod duties seriously and removing the strangeness of such a comment. Why you did that in here, Spinner? What you talking about? Not you calling Brent a toxic king. What the hell? What in the hell? Oh my God. First world problems will always slap. That's so true. We be complaining, but that is so true. Woo. My Lord. Mm-mm. Mm-mm-mm. But yeah, I think am I slapping the mic by accident, y'all? I'm sorry. But I think that's about as much as I have to say about the whole rise of single men commentary portion of the internet. I guess one other thing that I can add to it is the fact that everybody's single at this point. Rise of single loneliness, just in general. Everybody's feeling it. When I say everybody, I just mean in terms of men and women. Like, because if the men are single, what do you think the women are feeling? And I know I've seen a lot of women talk about we're happier without the men. We're much better off. We live much longer. The science proves it. And you know, I'm not gonna hold you. I have an auntie who literally, that's a fact. Like, she's healthy as hell. And I asked her how she did it, and she legit told me she did it by avoiding men. And I was like, well, damn. I hear you, auntie, but at the same time, I can't relate because I'm someone who I really value relationships. I really do. And I love love. I love being in love. And yes, you can be in love with yourself, sure, but after a while, you start desiring companionship from another person. And I'm not ashamed to admit that. A lot of people kind of act like, we don't need nobody. We ain't never needed nobody. But it's like, nah, no, I don't feel that way. I don't agree. I disagree. Okay? I disagree. Okay. I'm not happier without men. Come on. I feel you, girl. I feel you. I'm talking about the person he puts. Oh, you all still talking about Brent. Y'all having a conversation amongst yourselves. But yeah, for those of y'all who can relate to what I'm saying, you know, word. Like, you know what would be nice after me finishing with my hair is having a nice masculine man and his big ass hands and fingertips palming my scalp and going like this. That would be real nice. I'm not gonna sit here and be like, keep the men away from me, chat. I'm like, no. Unrelatable content. Unrelatable content, actually, for me. Actually. Okay. I really desire to be with a man, specifically a black man. Don't send anything else my way. I feel you. And not gonna hold you. There's fine men of all variations and flavors. I'm not gonna deny that fact. But there's something about the melanin that I just really need in my life. Ain't nothing else like it. What's your zodiac sign? I'm a Cancer. I'm a Cancer. Y'all, I'm getting tired of doing my hair. I'm getting tired. I'm getting tired. Okay. Sorry, I'm like looking in the chat and everything. Getting a little distracted about it. Oh my God. Anyways, so how y'all doing? How many of y'all are in here single? Who else is in here and who is single? And how you feel about it? Hey! Thank you for the super chat. I keep breaking the rubber bands by accident. Shouts to the super chat. Thank you. I appreciate it. You're a real one. Much love. Appreciate it. Abuse angels. Appreciate it. Thank you for the love. Okay, we have Baddie Locks raising your hand to say that you're single. Who else? Who else is in here single? Let's see if we got some love connections that go on in the chat. Girl, I'm punching the air. Single and mad. Single and frustrated about it. That's so funny. Okay. This is not the life I want to live. This man said, Cancer, never mind. I'm not coming over here. Well, stay where you at then, nigga. What she talking about? Stay where you at then. Talking about. Here looking good still. Thank you, Austin. I'm single as a mug. What do you think about that Division song about cheating? I forgot about that song, actually. First of all, I thought it was... it's a good song. It's a good song. It's a bop. It's funny, but he's also so ratchet for doing that. That is so funny. I really forgot about that song for real. Oh my God. Been single my whole life. I'm in my early 30s and I feel like it's exhausting these days to find a genuine person. Oh, I'm so sorry that you're feeling exhausted. I feel you though. I do. And honestly, one thing I will say that I notice is a lot of people who are in relationships or long-term relationships or whatever kind of just stay in it regardless of whether or not that person really gels in their life. They'll just keep it because it's easier than being in these streets sometimes. Like, sometimes the process of having to get to know a person and then you realize y'all don't work, so it doesn't happen, and then you have to somehow still be willing to do that again with another stranger. It is exhausting and it can be disappointing too. It's like, how many times do I have to do this? Especially with me acknowledging that I'm impatient about that whole little pitter patter beginning portion where everybody's like not fully being all of themselves because they're nervous about how it's going to be received. Like that part, very ghetto, and to have to keep doing that over and over, it's like, bruh. Why I gotta keep doing this? Like, the whole arranged marriages part of society, it's like, I get it. I understand how such a custom would arise, because doing it yourself sometimes, it's like, God damn, it's taxing. It's taxing. Why this thing acting crazy? Single and chilling. Okay, well, shouts to Johnny. Chilling like a villain. Single also. A lot of single people. Scorpio gang gang. Shouts to you. That's my moon. Was that message okay, Sammy? What message? I didn't even see it. Oh, let me look. What? Why? Listen, don't come up in my live stream asking my audience for money. Don't do that. That's not cool. That's not cool. I hope you find what you need, but don't come up in here. Like, what the hell? Been single my whole life, made a commitment to myself since I was a teenager to not seek relationships until I'm well established. Woo, static saying. That's tricky. It's interesting to make a decision like that from your teenage years. Okay. How do you feel? Sis needed to catch the bus. Clearly sis needed to catch the bus. I just don't appreciate you. I just don't like I don't appreciate the idea of someone coming in here and asking my audience to send them money. That's really wild to me. That's really wild to me. Like, on the one hand, I hope you genuinely okay. But on the other hand, I feel like that's so wild to do. Like, what in the Rosclot? What? What? Don't do that. Don't do that. We just finished talking about how people look at each other as just objects for their consumption. How people just be in here trying to use folks, and then you gonna come in here and do exactly that. No concern about what we in here talking about. I don't know. I don't know. Hit up. You don't got nobody in your life that you can hit up for help. Oh my God. I cannot. I really cannot. Like, what? That's crazy talk. That's crazy talk. Like, it looked like Shorty saw that they were sending out super chats. And she's like, oh, this is the place. This is where it's at then. So hit me up then. Like, what? I'll be damned. I hope none of y'all did it either. I don't know. I feel a little bit bad saying that because I don't even know if she going through anything for real, for real. It's the principle of the thing for me. It's the principle. Because what? I ain't never seen no shit like that in my life in here. I've never seen that happen. Like, what? So, Family Flex, thank you for doing what you did. Family Flex saw that shit and was like, nope. Delete. Delete. Holy snaps. I had wise people around me at that time. You're saying like when you were a teenager and you came to that decision, it was influenced by wisdom. I mean, I understand that. The thing that's tricky because it's kind of like the waiting until marriage to have sex kind of thought process, which I think is valid within specific communities, but societally, like people on a whole, I feel like that can also be stifling a little bit because you reduce your options significantly. But at the same time, if you align with someone who's on the same type of time and you, don't even matter because y'all are on the same type of time, you know? And I don't know. I think like specifically with men, y'all have the freedom more than women to focus on, you know, like your purpose or your bag or your self-development specifically over relationships because you can procreate at any point in time in your life. But the thing about that I say it's tricky is the fact that just because now you decide that you're ready to start having a relationship with people doesn't mean you know how to do it because you haven't had the experience. Like we're bringing it back to the article or just the topic of, you know, the rise of lonely men or whatever, and saying that one of the main issues is a relationship skills deficit. Like a lot of people don't even know the skills or how to practice them in a partnership because they simply aren't using those skills in their life because you're prioritizing. It's tricky because yes, you should be prioritizing yourself and your development and becoming a better person, but at the same time we're also connection oriented, we're relationship oriented people, so we're meant to connect and nurture connections. I'm saying connect a lot. We're meant to nurture relationships with other people. So I don't think it needs to be a thing of extremes where you're laser focused only on this or you're laser focused only on that. I think a balance is the ideal, but I recognize it's not realistic all the time, you know? I get that it's not always that way, but just when I think about it and we talk about all these men who don't know how to communicate with their partner or all these men who don't know how to nurture a relationship. It's like, when would they have had the opportunity to learn? Specifically, if you didn't have that example in front of you. It's different. I understand it if you had like relationships that were thriving in front of you, so you got to see it. So maybe you didn't get to practice, but you know what it looks like, you know what to seek. But if you didn't even have that, what do you think? You just gonna flip a switch and be like, I'm ready for a relationship now, and then you're gonna just get into one, and then you're gonna know what to do? Like, it's very nuanced. I got this random ass thing just sitting right. It's very nuanced. So I don't know if me saying any of that is helpful to you in your situation, because this is a decision you've made. It's a commitment you've made to yourself. So I want to respect that. I want to respect your commitment. I'm just sharing like the thoughts that are coming up when I think about it, you know? I ain't gonna lie, I'm focused on getting all my affairs in order before I start dating seriously. I also know love can come on the way, so I try to stay open. That's the thing, Austin, and I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you said that, because sometimes one thing I will say about what I notice with men when it comes to dating is y'all tend to have a hard time with multitasking. It's like it's either this or it's that. But both of them is like a lot of guys have a hard time balancing both the personal sides of life and the professional, or excuse me, I'm sorry, like whatever the thing is. It's like, because speaking to my own experience with someone who I was dating, that was the struggle for him, like the whole time, is like thinking that he it's kind of like if he was focused on his career, let's say for example, right, like getting his assets up, right, in his mind that meant that I couldn't be there either. He had to just only focus on that. But it's like, if I understand that this is what your priority is, I understand that that's your priority. So do what you gotta do, because I'm doing what I had to do too. Like, my thing about relationships is it's two people consciously choosing to do their life stuff together. So we're both having our own set of stuff that we're doing, but we're choosing to do it together and support each other in that. So it doesn't have to be like this whole all or nothing kind of concept where it's like, I'm only doing this, I'm only focusing on this, and then after I get all of that, then I'll include another person. Because it can be tricky, because like I said, you first of all, you don't even know how long it's going to take you to get all your affairs in order. You know what I mean? And then also there's a part where now that your affairs are in order, it doesn't automatically translate into relationship readiness if you haven't been doing the things along the way that would nurture those skills. You still need the skills. What are you doing to practice them? Because let's say in the perfect scenario, you got all your shit together, you find a perfect partner, and they're willing to be with you. But that by itself ain't it, because you need the part where you know how to be with them. You see what I'm saying? Statics is saying he sees what we're saying. I'm gonna ease up on you. I don't want to make you feel bad. You know what I mean? Like I said, I want to respect your decision. I think I'm just really just speaking generally to, because your perception of it is very common, to be honest. That's a very common thing that I see with men a lot, especially with this emergence of, male spaces sharing how they feel. And they're kind of just like, F all these women, bro, just focus on your purpose and that's it. And it's like, okay, cool. But then what happens when you want a woman? What do you do with her? How do you even get her? And how do you keep her if you haven't practiced the skills needed? But yeah, women are funny. Listen to the single woman. She's going to give great advice. What? Why is Andrew coming in here being shady? That's what I want to know. Like, because stuff like that, I don't know. Maybe you were trying to be funny or whatever, but like, I don't think that people have to be in a relationship right now in order to speak about their experiences. Like, it's kind of like when people say, if you ain't had no kids, you don't know nothing about kids. You can't tell me how to be a parent. It's like, no, I can't tell you how to be a parent, but if I spent my entire life working with children professionally, I know something. I know enough to speak on the things that they need. So I'm single now, yes, but I have been in relationships. So just because I'm not in one right now doesn't mean I am not allowed to talk about it with people. I don't like stuff like that. Like, you're not allowed to talk about these. Like, stop. Cut it out. Just cut it out, Andrew. Stop it. Cut it out, Andrew. Just stop. Just stop it. Balance is the key to life, especially if you want a family. We all got to work to live, but there's a lot of people like that, unfortunately. And that is true. And when she says like that, she's talking about in terms of let me just say they, because I don't know. They're talking about in terms of people like being very much like either or and not making an attempt to achieve balance. You know? Andrew, I'm sorry. Maybe I misinterpreted your tone. I read sarcasm when I read that, but maybe you were genuinely trying to say that. I don't know. I don't know, Lord. I really don't know at this point what you meant. I really don't know. Anyways. I'm trying to see if I got everything. Woo! Lord. Has my sweat dried up? Nope. I need to behave myself. Don't do that, Sammy. What are you doing, girl? I'm sorry, y'all. I forgot I'm on the internet. Oh, Jesus. That was uncalled for. I didn't need to do that. I'm just hot. It's so hot. It's so hot. Big facts, big facts. This is way better than therapy. Thanks for creating this sage space. You are welcome. If y'all need therapy, though, definitely go to therapy. But I'm glad y'all are feeling comfortable in here to chat. That's what I want. I want people to start talking about things honestly and it not becoming a goddamn battleship as we do so. You know what I'm saying? You good, Sammy? What's on your mind, girl? Life. Life is on my mind, child. Life is on my mind, child. Because, yes, I'm talking about all this stuff with relationships and whatever, but this honestly isn't the most important thing in my life right now. The most important thing is I'm trying to figure out my work situation. And that sometimes that's a little stressful to think about, to be honest. So that's what's on my mind is that. There's women like that too. That's how I lost a friend because I wasn't getting my needs met in the friendship because she solely focused on her career. Like, we all busy. What was her career? Now I'm curious. Sorry, Queen, gotta go have a phone call. All good. Family Flex, thank you for your help. I appreciate you. People make time for what they want. Oof. Yes. That is very true. I try to give people grace because I recognize that, like, especially if I know what they have on their plate, that sometimes people just have a lot going on and don't have like a full energetic battery to be able to be present for all of the things all the time. Like, I definitely understand that because I can feel that way sometimes too. But I also believe that if you do want something to happen, you're gonna make it happen, or you're gonna try and you're gonna make an effort in some shape or format. Chiropractor. Okay. I guess. I think sometimes people kind of dive fully into the career thing, like as their only focus in life, because at least with that, you have some semblance of control of the outcome a little bit. You still can't control everything about it, but you have more of a say versus in relationships or social aspects of life, you can't control it as much. And so people kind of feel like unnerved by that. It's uncomfortable to know that you're in a scenario where anything can fucking happen. And I think that's scary for people. So they kind of just avoid it. And I don't think that's healthy at all. I don't think it's healthy. I think we should all try. We should all be trying to nurture our connections. And as I say this, I'm speaking to myself too, because there are some relationships in my life that it's about time that I checked in. It's definitely about time that I do that. But you know, like, effort is important in all that you do. And yeah, it just is. What's good, Miss Ma'am? Hey, Grove, what up? Shouts to you. Ooh, I understand that more than you know. Just gotta take it one day at a time. Yes, Batty Locks. I'm glad we're in solidarity a little bit on the struggle. That's definitely one area of my life where I'm like having to exert effort in making sure I have some financial security in my life. And I hate having to think about that. I hate having to do that. I really do. But I got to. And so efforts are being made in that sphere. And wish me luck, child. Wish me luck, Lord. Why does calling other women out on their bullshit make me a pick me? Uh-oh, who called you a pick me? Or are you just saying in general? First of all, Lord God. Woo, man, the pick me conversation. Now that's a conversation. Oh my God. Because listen, where do I even start? Where do I even start? Like, we as women, we should be allowed to speak on the things that we observe without it meaning that we're a pick me, right? We should be able to openly say, yes, I do love and respect men and I want one in my life without it meaning you're a pick me. Like, I really hate the whole shaming women for wanting feminine things or supporting the masculine presence. Like, what is that? Why do we do that? Ew. But at the same time, I do see some women in this world who kind of parrot, literally repeat back what the men say so that they can position themselves as better than other women. I do see that too. And when I see that, I'm like, girl, what are you doing? Why are you doing this? But when I see it in my mind, I'm not like, oh, that's a pick me. I'm just like, girl, that's phony as hell. Like, stop it. Don't be weird. Stop being weird. That's my thing, because the whole pick me thing is such a lame. It's lame to do that. You know what I mean? Like what? Like what the F is a pick me just for advocating for the opposite sex? Dree is tired. Dree said, "I'm tired of the bullshit, y'all. I'm tired of it." Yeah, like what's the origin of pick me? It feels very slavish, but I don't know. Let me look. Origin of pick me. Wait, what? Here we go. The term came from what? People are trying to say it originated from social media, and I know that's some bullshit. So let me dig some more. They're talking about how it gained popularity on TikTok and it started trending on Twitter in 2016, but it's way beyond that. I know that much. So let me see. Let's see. Why is it so hard to find the origin? They're really saying it's a social media thing, but that doesn't feel correct to me. They're talking about the pick me girl meme that was floating all over social media, but I'm like, that feels inaccurate. I don't know why. It feels like that's an ancient thing, like an older thing. No, you can be a pick me amongst friends. It's basically a kiss ass. Batty Locks. Batty Locks got time today. It definitely. You. Yes. It's kind of like when you see guys talk about simping. They're like, "Oh, stop being a simp." But even that word, I can't stand to hear it either. I actually was looking at a conversation online yesterday, and I saw a woman who was doing what I was just describing, where she's like parroting. She was like, what she said? Something, 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 because a lot of these guys are pandering beta simps. And when I tell you, I was looking at that sentence like, now girl, women don't speak like that in real life. Women don't use words like pandering, beta, simps. That's men conversation. That came with the rise of the manosphere and the men talking about their experiences with stuff. Women aren't running around the place talking about, oh, that nigga's a beta. Oh, he a simp. Like, oh, he pandering. Like, that is not how we speak. So I was looking at that and I was like, you're low-key a panderer in this fucking sentence, because who talks like that? Which woman talks like that? You talking like that, you're doing the kiss-ass thing that Batty Locks just described. Like, now you're trying to position yourself as a woman who gets men so much that you can identify these things in society too. But it's like, but just be yourself. Speak how you speak. Stop trying to speak like how everyone else speaks. That's why I get annoyed with these kind of words, because it's like kind of groupthinkish where people just repeat. And it's like, but what do you think in your own brain? Do you have an original thought ever? Or are you always parroting what you hear from other people? Stuff like that is very cringy. It makes me cringe. It's like, why are you acting like that? It's kind of like in Mean Girls where Gretchen was trying to make fetch happen. She was just calling everything fetch. It's fetch. Everything's fetch. Trying to make it a thing. It's like, stop trying to make fetch happen. It's never going to happen. Stop trying to make the pick me happen. Stop calling people simps. And I'm kind of talking to specific people a little bit because I know people who speak like this in real life too. And it's low-key funny, but sometimes when I hear it, I'm like, why? Why are these words? Probably because it's the human condition to give a category to something so that we can all have a shared vocabulary on the experience. I get that. But sometimes people be overdoing it. Like that example that Dree gave, as far as when you advocate for the opposite sex, it's automatically you're a pick me or you're a simp. It's like, so now I'm not allowed to like people. Now I'm not allowed to fuck with anybody who's not of the same gender as me, because that means I'm a this. Okay, internet. Okay, sure. Oh my God. Not her, not her using 3 condescending words at once. That's when I knew that the game is fucked up. When I saw that sentence, I'm like, Y'all know how? You remember when the internet exposed Derek Jackson and his scandalous, fraudulent ass, right? Right? Okay. There are women Derek Jacksons in the world too, child. Let me just tell you that. They exist. They be out here. And I understand that the intention is to show that you're an ally, because you too would like a man, or you want companionship, or you want guys to be cool with you and respect. But at the same time, if you're being fraudulent, nobody's going to respect that, baby. No one respects that. They may not say it to you, but they see it still. So when I saw that sentence, I had to click out of the app that I was in, because I was like, there's no way in hell this is real life. Like, there's no way this is happening for real. Like, why is this the sentence? Why is this the sentence? Like, what? Define pander. Define beta. Define simp. And then explain to me why you are using those words together in a sentence. I was judging. I'm not gonna hold you. I was judging a little bit. I was like, girl, stop. Just stop. You can acknowledge the struggles of the opposite gender without like repeating verbatim what they're saying. Like, you don't know how to paraphrase. You don't know how to say things in your own words. Say it in your own words now. It's kind of like when you ask someone to define a word, right? You're like, what does this word mean? And then they use the word in the definition. It's like, you really don't know what it means then. Like, find your own words to define a concept. All you're doing is repeating what you're hearing all the time. Stuff like that. I get very judgy when I see shit like that. I'm like, baby, child, what the hell is you doing? What the hell is you doing, girl? Why are you doing that for? Stop. It looks crazy. It looks crazy as hell. Okay. People are more worried about fitting in and being liked than being truly themselves. And that's exactly what the problem is. Exactly that. Like, that's really where like the whole social media landscape has become a disservice for people who don't know how to find their true selves outside of these images. A lot of people are trying on personalities based off of what they see is popping right now. That's why the BBL epidemic is what it is. Because, baby girl, next year, what's it going to be? When the body type changes again, you going to undo the BBL? Like, stop trying to wear a personality, an aesthetic, a way of being if it's not really who you are. But at the same time, I can't even say a sentence like that because a lot of people don't know who they really are for real. So they have to try on different things until they figure it out. So I get that. But my God, sometimes when you look at it, you're just like, are you serious? Like, are you being for real right now? Strange. Are you single? Yes, I am. Um, good times. And we called it a year before Grove. Grove is petty because Grove love to see when shit goes up in flames so that he can be like, see, told you. Paraphrasing is hard for folks. They just copy and paste. And that's how, because now y'all got me thinking about when I was an educator, when I was teaching, this was a thing that I used to see a lot in the classroom with students is an inability to actually think. Actually thinking, you realize that people don't know how to do that. And it's weird because you would expect that it's an automatic part of being a human with a brain is that you think thoughts. But the truth is you learn how to think. You learn how to have an idea and then explore it and then make sense of it and then convey it to another. Those are things that you learn and you practice over time as you build your communication skills. But unfortunately, a lot of people do not know how to think for themselves, or either they don't know how to think for themselves or they're uncomfortable expressing how they really feel about something. Either way, though, you're being fraudulent or you're creating a rift in dialogues with people because you're not really saying anything. It's like when people are people pleasers or yes men, it's like all you're doing is agreeing to everything I'm saying, but what do you feel for real? What do you really think about it? Oh, whatever you think is right. No. It's a difference between actually agreeing with something versus just being with it because it's the thing to do. You know what I'm saying? Your locks are thriving. Okay, sorry, continue. Thank you. Do you miss teaching? Not really. It's really the kids. My favorite part of teaching was just interacting with the kids, to be honest. Like everything else I could do without. If I could just have me and the kids and that's it, it would have been, and then a wonderful salary to match that, it would have been perfect. But like, I mean, everything has its downside, right? So for me, the adults in the equation is what made it really trash. And when I say adults, I mean administration for sure, but then also the parents and the families. Because a lot of people don't understand that as the parents, you are the first, but you're also the primary teacher, meaning you start teaching them before everyone else does, but you're also primary, as in you will always be that person as they're going through that portion of life where they're in school and stuff, you know? And so sometimes parents would like completely disassociate from the education portion. They'll just drop their kid off and in their mind it's like, you go to school to learn, so that's where you learn. But it's like, no, they learn from you. So all of my best students were always the ones who had parents who were involved in their learning. Even when the parents didn't speak English as their first language. But if they gave a fuck about teaching their child was the best one in the classroom all the time. Every class that I've ever taught, that has always been the case. And every time I had poor performing students, it was always from backgrounds where the parents were disassociated from the process. It's like the same everywhere you go is like that. You don't have to be like this well-off, affluent adult in order to parent your child and teach them things. You just have to be present. You have to talk to them. When they ask you questions, you answer them. When you see things in the world, you conceptualize it for them. You quantify numbers for them. You show them the world and you explain it to them. And then they're able to go into a classroom, and as the educator, I just keep doing that. And then I send them back to you and you keep doing that. And now we're just doing that and they're continuing to grow and grow. But what I was finding is that a lot of people don't understand that. And so the frustrations that I was having as a teacher is that I felt like I wasn't actually helping the kids fully because I can only do as much as you're doing as the parent. So if you're not doing anything, it's like your kid is just fucking just there, lost. And it was sad. It was actually really sad to see it. It's like, bro, for example, because I was teaching preschool, right? For example. So I've been a nanny and I'm actually thinking about going back into nannying, right? Now, I would be in, let's say, a affluent community working with their kids, right? And I remember one time I had this one kid who was 2 years old, 2. And baby girl used to articulate herself in a way that was like so thorough that I had never seen such a thing before in my life. She was so clear. She spoke like she was able to pronounce every single word that she said. She would express to me what she needed and why. I was like, bro, this girl is 2. She was like, she'll say stuff like, oh, Miss Sammy, can we go color or can we paint in the art room? And I'd be like, okay, let's do that. Can you show me where it is? Yes, the art room is downstairs. All we need is an easel, some paint, and some paintbrushes. Actually, can you help me get the water? Because I can't read. 2 years old talking to me like that. Then I'm teaching in the hood. I have 4 and 5-year-olds who, speech delays is like a really common thing in our community. And a lot of people think it's because it's like a developmental thing with your brain, but it's really because you need to talk to your kids. Talk to them. Just keep talking to them. You have to talk to them, right? So I would have kids who just simply can't say words. They can't even make the sounds, or like, even if they do know how to speak and convey information, put them down to do an activity like writing their name. They're holding the pencil like this. They can't hold the pencil right? But then I go back to those communities and the children are writing scripts in full sentences. So that's all. I use that to say, and there's so many layers as to why it's like that for us. Because in those communities, they have the resources to hire someone like me to be in their household so that they can do what they got to do. Or they have the resources to be able to be present with their kids and actually teach them in the house as well as in the school. But in our communities, it's so common for us to not have that kind of support system where it becomes difficult to be as present as you would need to be. And it translates into a real life struggles for the kids. And it's like really sad. It's like really sad. It's like, damn, bro. And you want to save them. It's like, I wanted to save a lot of these children somehow, but I can't make your parent be different than what they are. You can have the conversations and you can explain it till you're blue in the face, but are they actually doing it in the house? You have no control over that. So those were the things about teaching that used to suck, to be honest. But the children by themselves, I fuck with the kids. Sammy love the kids, okay? I love the kids. So that's my long-ass answer to whether or not I miss teaching. That's my long-ass answer, okay? I feel like I want to take you out. Do you date engineers? Oh my God, rock star. I've never dated an engineer before, but I am open to it. That's interesting. Thank you for such a nice thing that you just said. Have you seen that TV series, Abbott Elementary? It's a comedy. Yes, I have seen it. Comedy touches on topics about the education system. And literally, the reason why that show is so good is because it is so accurate. Like, it is exactly like that in the school system. I had this goddamn twist sitting here. Why y'all ain't tell me? It's exactly like that. For real. Like, Crazy. And you see like how, for those who watch the show, you see how like there's the Quinta's character, the new teacher on the scene, and she's like so excited. She wants to save the kids and teach the kids, and she's like, let's do this, let's do that. But there's no money in the budget to do any of the things, or if there is money in the budget, they're not using it for that. They just don't have the resources. And then all the seasoned teachers who have been doing it for 20, 30 years, they're kind of like, girl, you just do what you can and go home, child. Because that's legit what it becomes. After a while, you start to see how helpless it is for real. And you kind of just go through the motions, and that's about it. You lose that connection to that initial passion that you had to actually help these kids, and it becomes I'm gonna just do my best to keep these children alive and then send their asses home, and then that's gonna be that. Ah, my God. Cray. Is it on Netflix? It's on Hulu. It comes on ABC. It's ABC, right? But they show the replay on Hulu. I actually had to finish the season. I low-key forgot about it. It's just like The Office, but for black people. I'm crushing on you. Oh, that's so nice. Oh, it's on HBO Max too? I didn't know that. Thank you, Bianca. Which, by the way, Bianca, you know there was another girl in here with your same name asking people for money? Crazy. Get your people, girl. She came up in here asking the people to send her money, child. Get your people, Bianca. Necklace is fire. Thank you. Thank you so much. I love it. I love it. Yes, girl. Shorty came in here. She's like, can somebody send me $20 for the bus? I'm like, ma'am, you better not be asking my audience for money. Don't do that. Not up in here. Not up in here. That was not me, I promise you. Girl, it was funny, child. It was very funny. I was like, what the hell? What show are you talking about? We talking about Abbott Elementary. Abbott. Oh! I found another one. Anyways, y'all. Y'all got anything else you want to talk about before I head out of here? What y'all got on your mind? What y'all dealing with? How's everybody doing? Y'all see this goddamn monkeypox? Child. What is life? What is life? What is life? What is it? I don't understand. Woo! Jesus. The heat is too much. It is too much. I keep hitting the mic. My bad. I don't have nothing else to talk about, y'all. I'm getting hot and sweatier as time progresses, and it's like shameful. I've been sweating on this live the entire time, and I don't even have the capacity to feel embarrassed about it because I am that hot and tired. Okay. Hey, Journey with Karen. Hey, girl. Welcome. We pretty much talked about the topic already, and so now I'm kind of just here, just chilling, but I don't really have anything to say. So feel free to ask me some questions if you have them. Otherwise, I'm gonna head out. Okay. So I'm gonna give the people some time to formulate some thoughts, and then based off of what is formulated, I will either continue to engage or I will dip and lay down and fan myself. Okay? Mm-hmm. We still love you, sweat and all. Thank you, girl. Thank you. I appreciate that. Because I can't even hide it. It just is what it is. Okay. I remember when I was younger, I used to be so embarrassed about the fact that I was so sweaty as a person. Because I don't sweat like on my face. I was like maybe on my top lip I will, but on my face I don't. I sweat like on my body, right? And I used to be so embarrassed about it. But now I'm kind of just like, it is what it is. Especially because I use natural deodorants. And basically with those, it's like you still will sweat. It's not like an antiperspirant where it stops you from sweating, because the intention is to keep any odor away, but you still will sweat because you're still a human. So and I've been using natural deodorants for years now, like maybe over 10 years now. So, and they have been the most efficient as far as keeping me like fresh throughout the day versus like the aluminum based deodorants. But one thing for sure is I still be sweating. But even aside from like pits, just whole body be moist sometimes. Shouts to y'all for allowing me to talk as transparently as I am about this. Because there was a time I used to be so uncomfortable and so embarrassed about it, but now I'm kind of just like, it is what it is. I still sweated when I use antiperspirant. Yeah, because it's like, there's some people who just don't. They're not sweaty people, and shouts to y'all, but not everyone can relate to that. Okay. I'm willing to support, uplift, motivate, whatever you have going on. Real men will travel for true love. Maybe we can do each other locks. Just send me a message. Rockstar trying to do my hair, y'all. How I'm gonna send you a message, Rockstar? I don't even know who you use. Why every pod is attacking men on here? What? The main suspects, help me understand what you're talking about. You just came up in here, guns blazing. Ain't nobody attacking men in here. What you talking about? Also, this is not a podcast, but are you talking about this space, or are you talking about something that you're observing? Because I'm confused by that. Girl, I tried organic deodorants and I sweat so much more. Legit, it's kind of like, especially if you're new to it, it'll do the whole detox period. So it's like literally everything comes out. But then when you think about it, you're supposed to. Your skin is the largest organ, and part of how it releases all of the things is through your sweat. And also it's meant to cool you down. And I've been sitting here this whole time talking about how hot I am, but the sweat is meant to cool you. So it's like we try to stop ourselves from doing the things that we're designed to do, and society has made it such that specifically for women, it's like you're not allowed to be these things because it's generally unattractive or unwomanly, I guess. But it's like, nigga, I'm a human being, so I sweat. Okay? It is what it is. You still on? I'm dumb late. Hella late, Reginald. We done had the whole conversation without you, okay? All of it has been had. So you're just gonna have to run it back. Just wanted to say you're so pretty and your locks are gorgeous, and I truly love your authenticity. Aww. Thank you. That's so sweet. Thank you. Thank you so much. I tried natural deodorants, but most that I tried had magnesium, which I'm allergic to, but I found stuff with arrowroot and that works. Arrowroot is really good. My favorite deodorants have arrowroot in it. Shouts to you. Sweat is sexy. Cause you a island gal while you sweat so much. That you right. Correct. I do belong in the tropics. You know what's crazy? It's interesting. When I'm actually on an island, I don't feel as sweaty. It's weird. It's really like when I've only gone to two. I've only gone to Jamaica, obviously, but then Mexico, and in both. Well, let me think about that. If it's like a really humid day, then yeah. But generally, I'll be chilling, and because I remember one time noticing that I was like, I'm dead ass just in the heat, and my body's relaxed about it. I don't know. That's strange. Did you get enough sleep? You asking that? What that got to do with sweat growth? Or you just asking in general? I think I did. I think so. Y'all in here complimenting me. Stop. Stop. You make me nervous. I heard lime is a natural deodorant, but I haven't tried yet. I hear that too, like lime and lemon. But I don't know if I'm about that life. I like the feeling of actual products. You know what I'm saying? Like something about just squirting lime juice in those areas makes me feel like, well, it's just liquid. And if I'm sweating, won't the liquid sweat off and then lose its efficiency? But I don't know. That's just my thought process about it. I'd be like, what? How'd that work? New York concrete heat humidity a different beast. Oh, D. It's like unnatural. It's like, is it meant to be this hot for real and sticky? It don't feel natural. Those island vibes just hit different. For real, like my sweat when I'm on an island is more like a glisten. It's like I'm just glistening. But then also, it's probably because I'm constantly like in beach type of attire. I don't know. It's just not the same as how it is over here. Okay, it's big different, and I don't know why. I just notice it. Oh man, shouts to y'all rocking with me for this entire conversation. Y'all are lit. Y'all are lit. When it's humid out, is that you sweating or is it the moisture in the air accumulating on your skin? Come on with the high thoughts. Let me think. I'm gonna say that it is you sweating. You stumped me with that one because it's making me think of a sauna where that's what's happening. It's like you're sweating, but you're also collecting the mist that's in the air. So I'll just say it's both. I'm going to just say it's both. I feel like it's both. Yeah, word. We're on the same page. I think it's both of them is the thing. and that's my final answer. All right, y'all. I think I'm gonna head out because I don't have nothing else to say for real. I really don't. Also, it's pronounced Curran. Why do I feel like I'm still saying it wrong? Curran? Help me, girl. Curran. Am I doing it right? What you mean you hit me up because I still can't figure out this zodiac thing? What you mean you can't figure out the zodiac thing, girl? What you trying to figure out? What you trying to figure out? What is it that you confused about? Help me, girl. Am I saying it right? Is it Curran? Curran. I don't know if I'm doing it right, and I feel bad because I want to say your name correctly. Closer. Jesus. Help. Help me. Oh, Jesus. I'm so sorry. I can't. Wait, I can't. I only know my own. Can peeps really read someone's personality from that thing? Not Grove asking me these ridiculous questions. Listen, Grove. Astrology is deeper than zodiac signs. I'll put it like that. The zodiac signs give us like a vocabulary, like a mutually agreed upon description, so that we can all have the dialogue and have a frame of reference. But by itself, like if someone says, I'm a Cancer, right? That by itself isn't going to tell you everything you need to know about me. The rest of the zodiac story comes from your birth chart, where it tells you all the other placements. And if you're not someone who really respects the concept of astrology enough to like investigate it, you'll probably look at that and think it's some bullshit. And usually a lot of men tend to kind of dismiss it because they're like, how the hell the stars gonna tell you who I am? But there's aspects of it that are like uncanny in the way that it's able to like assess things about you, because at the end of the day, if you think about how we came to be, like how does a human exist outside of procreation? But how did we get here? How did humanity or civilization start? They say it was the Big Bang, right? That's the scientifically accepted theory, that it was the Big Bang. We just, right? So if that's what happened, then that's the concept of like stardust, really. You know, like just particles and atoms just coming together and exploding off of each other and creating life somehow. So if we would like to believe that we are made up of tiny particles and atoms, and all of those things exist within us and around us in the universe, the idea is that those larger planetary fixtures and star placements connect to everything around us because we are of it in some shape or form. Like it's part of us to a certain extent. That's like this is me trying to make it make sense without using zodiac terms. Just like how we all can acknowledge that the moon controls the tides on Earth, that's the concept of astrology. The idea that the planets and the star placements have influence over our human experience because we see how it influences other things too. For example, we all can recognize that as the seasons change, right? Like the behaviors of animals and things in nature and humans change as well. For instance, soon it'll be wintertime, and for a lot of animals, that's mating season, right? And like the idea is, it's just, I feel like I'm kind of losing myself in trying to like explain it in common examples. So let me recalibrate. It's hard to explain sometimes. Astrology is fun though. When you really get into it, it's a good time. It really is a good time. And also, to be real with you, it's used a lot in society and the way that information is presented. And I kind of think like it's been kind of trivialized to horoscopes so that people can dismiss it and not really apply it in their life. But if you look at the way that holidays are scheduled, they coincide with what's going on in the cosmos. They do. Look up the story behind Christmas for real. How did they come to that decision to make it that date? What is it describing? Look up the winter solstice. What does that mean? And see how it's connected to Christmas. Like, I remember when an inauguration day for Biden, it was, I can't remember exactly what was, it was either a full moon or Mercury retrograde, something like that. I remember when they presented the mandates last year. It was day 1 of Mercury retrograde, which is a time of like miscommunication. It's about communication issues and breakdown and feelings of chaos and loss of control a lot of the times, and remix and redoing and just switching the style up. That's what happens in Mercury retrograde. And that's when they announced the mandates. So the point that I'm making is a lot of the things that happen around us, there it's coinciding with things that are happening astrologically. And if you know, you peep. If you don't know, you don't peep. Pay attention to when the full moon schedule is, and pay attention to what happens in the news on those days. Okay? Pay attention to when any planet goes retrograde, and pay attention to what happens in the world on those days. If you really want to find proof in the pudding, because I know it originated from us talking about if, zodiacs really correspond to your personality for real. And one of my ways of helping people find truth in the concept of astrology is just suggesting that you look at it for real, and then look at what happens in the world and see if you can draw your own conclusions. Okay? I'm a new truck driver, and it's hard to believe that the landscape I've seen wasn't meticulously curated by a higher being. Yo, I love that you said that about, like, as a truck driver and, like, seeing it. Because really when you, like, are just in a city structure and you see like the architecture around us, you can get so absorbed in that you don't pay attention to the actual land. But when you look at how the earth is just by itself without interference, you're like, there's no way this is just by accident. It's so intricate. It's like weird. Like, this is why religions exist, because there's a whole bunch of people just trying to give it context. Because it's like, there's no way I'm the only one who peeps this. For instance, when they made the connection between the roots of a tree looking and operating the exact same way as a placenta in a woman's womb, it's the same. How is that? How? It's just a coincidence? Or is there something more intricate about it that we just can't understand, and so we kind of abandon our connection to it? You know? The concept of as above, so below is what astrology is what the whole zodiac shit is about. The concept is that everything that happens up there is connected to what happens down here, period. Whether you accept that as true or not is your personal prerogative, but it is what it is. Okay. So that's my thoughts on that. I actually have a video breaking down astrology, like for real. Like breaking down the connection to the sun and God and religion, and how all of these religions are really just describing the things that we see in nature, and astrological concepts are all given storylines in religion. But they talking about astrology, baby. That's why it's so funny to me when I see like Christians specifically be like, all that astrology stuff, that's devil work. And it's like literally the entire Bible is talking about astrology. So what the fuck is you talking about? The whole idea of Jesus in the manger and the three wise men following the star to lead them. They're talking about, right. Literally, they're talking about the stars in the sky. The three wise men are the Sirius and like, what is it, Orion's? But don't quote me right now. I don't have all the information coming to me right now. But I did talk about it in the video because I did the research and I presented the information. But it's all talking about the stars and the planets, girl. All of it. And we just, in our religious understanding, you just give these stars and concepts names and personalities and a storyline. So it's just like a fairy tale. You're just giving it a story so we can all pass it along to each other. But what is the story about? That's what people need to start questioning more. What is the origin of the story? What are they describing? And how is it possible that all these religions around the world can have all these different interpretations, but it's all describing the same stuff? How is it that all of these religions have all these different gods and goddesses, and when you look at their story, it's the same story? What is it describing? These be the questions. Those are the real questions to ask, Grove. But for those of y'all who are also curious as to what the fuck I'm talking about, just like Grove is probably, go check out my astrology video where I'm like, is astrology real or is it just woo-woo nonsense? That video is thorough, okay? All of the information is in there. It's all in there. Okay. I just want to shut up. I just went on a whole random ass outburst. Okay, y'all. I'm about to pack it up for tonight. I need to cool down. I need to cool off and put on my bonnet. Okay? So if y'all have any final thoughts, feel free to drop them, but that's all I got for you. So thank you for joining tonight's conversation. It's been a vibe. I'm probably going to go live again next week because I haven't had a video concept come up to me. So I don't believe I'll be doing a pre-recorded video. So I may just go live again next Wednesday. Stay tuned for that. Oh, hold on. Engineers are nerds, by the way. Don't let a man you don't know touch your scalps. Cut it out. Y'all are funny. All right, y'all. Good night. Thank you for the vibes. Appreciate you. Okay.